Hello and welcome to a full timeline comparison of the games in the Runner series. Now we are starting with the original SpinTires, which is unable to be purchased now. However, if you own an original copy through Steam, you can still reinstall it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with SpinTires and then work our way all the way up to some gameplay of Expeditions from the latest preview. So y'all can see a full evolution of the mainline games in this series. And as we go along, I'm going to introduce each game and then I'll give y'all a little rundown of what we're going to do in each clip. And then I'm just going to let y'all enjoy the pure gameplay with full sound, and also, of course, just let y'all immerse yourselves in the timeline that these games give us. So without any further ado, here is the original SpinTires. Next, we get to move on to MudRunner. Now, MudRunner was where a lot of new players joined the series, and it was also where the series expanded onto consoles for the very first time, as SpinTires the original was always a PC-only release. And the changeover from the original SpinTires to MudRunner not only saw a lot of visual improvements, but it also saw a lot of improvements to the camera as well, or at least in my personal opinion. You will find some members of the community that still to this day prefer the original SpinTires camera. However, there's always been back and forth as to which one is quote-unquote better. So let's go ahead and enjoy the MudRunner gameplay at full volume. Now, I'm sure y'all will be very familiar with this gameplay because this is SnowRunner. Now, a lot of y'all watching my channel have honestly found my channel through this game. However, this game has had a very interesting history since its release back in April of 2020. And ever since that release, SnowRunner has had a very interesting life because it's gone through its fair share of both technical issues and difficulties with the community, but also its fair share of huge successes, like being the first game in the series to actually support modding on consoles. So even though SnowRunner has definitely had its ups and downs, I do think it will still be a very loved and well received game overall in the series history. And when you watch the gameplay and really listen to the way the vehicles interact with the environments, you can definitely see influence from the prior two games. However, you can also see where a lot of that influence has been either altered a little bit, or where certain elements of it have been turned up or also turned down. And then finally, we make our way to Expeditions. Now, if y'all are sick of seeing the same Expeditions gameplay over and over again, I completely understand. However, this is currently the only gameplay that we have. And I know that it's the same gameplay that a lot of other channels have, but that's because, well, we were all provided with the same gameplay. So with that being said, Expeditions is definitely going to give us access to a lot of new environments and new gameplay dynamics while clearly retaining a lot of the same elements of the prior games in the franchise. But what I do like about Expeditions is that it shows us that there's a lot more that they can do when it comes to varied environment types, like, for example, a rocky desert or a canyon environment, as opposed to your, I guess you would call it, standard runner environment that is based on a lot of, woodland, rivers, with a lot of mud and things like that. This really shows that in the next mainline game, they could very well expand into a lot of new environment types, as we've seen in Expeditions. And honestly, whether or not you're a big fan of what Expeditions is doing with some slightly more mission-based gameplay as opposed to, let's say, for example, hauling gameplay, there's no denying that it definitely kind of almost is nostalgic to the challenge series stuff that we saw back in MudRunner, where you had individual challenges that you could make your way through. And even SnowRunner had those individual challenges as well. But when you expand that sort of format into its entire own game, I think it definitely gives them more freedom to be able to do what they would like with it. And of course, with all of that being said, I'm going to let y'all enjoy a few more minutes of raw Expeditions gameplay so you can make your own decisions and you can take away your own impressions based on comparing it to all of the prior games in the series. So without any further ado, here's that gameplay. then after all of that, I'm actually going to return us back to the original SpinTires for the conclusion of this video, because I think it's only fitting that we kind of circle back around to the original, but I also think it's important to revisit the starting point for what we have now in this series after, of course, seeing the gameplay of Expeditions. But with all of that being said, let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in those comments down below. And if you're new around here and you would like to see more of what you saw today, hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on. And I will see y'all next time.